the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the main point. That's not said lightly, because there is only one coach who can be the winningest coach in the history of an NFL franchise, especially one that goes back that far as the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's Andy Reid. So Andy, I don't even want to understate it or overstate it. Not only an outstanding coach, but an outstanding person. You have no idea, because he, at many times, didn't want to share himself with the press, or in a way in which he had to kind of protect his own players, protect the way he was as a coach. But having worked side by side with him for 14 years, this is a gem of a person, and incredibly dedicated to making the Eagles the franchise that we have been. And it was no easy task. He left no stone unturned, and his dedication was incredible. His work ethic was incredible, and his ability to work with others was incredible. He had the love and respect of every individual in this organization, and I don't say that lightly, because I think if you were to interview owners and other franchise operations around the league, not everybody could say that. This man was amazing to work with, smart, and dedicated himself. And the record will speak for itself. History will focus on exactly what he's been able to accomplish and what the team's been able to accomplish. And I look forward to the day we will all welcome him back and introduce him as a member of the Eagles Hall of Fame, because that's inevitable. With that, we're going forward, and I'm excited about the opportunity. I think in life that whenever you have either a downturn or a problem or something that you've got to face, a challenge, it should, if you're healthy about it, make you stronger. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. We're used to winning, and we're used to winning big. It's rare that we're not in the playoffs or playing in the championship game, and that's what we got to return to. And then for our incredible fan base that have been so supportive, every ounce of our effort and my effort goes towards not only having that excellence of being in the playoffs, but the ultimate goal of winning a championship for Philadelphia. An amazing fan base here. They've been supportive. I love the way they responded at the end of Andy Reid's career with respect and class. And I applaud all of you who communicated that as well, because that's been a special history over the last 14 years. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Players in the locker room today, veteran players, pointed to the fact that guys weren't getting their role, they weren't getting effort throughout the course of the season. When you look back at last year's struggle and everything that played out this year, any regrets that this move didn't come after last season?
Well, you know, I think, as you know, I stood up here last year and went through some of the arguments for making a change and decided not to. One of the key arguments for me for not making a change at the end of last year was that every time our team under Andy Reid was 8-8 or less, and it wasn't very often, but every single time after that, the next season were a double-digit playoff team, double-digit win playoff team, and advancing to the NFC Championship. That was the history. I really believed that this season, with our talent, that we would be a strong contender and a double-digit win team. And, you know, nobody is more disappointed or crushed than myself, because I fully believe that that's exactly where we were at in August as we started the season.
When did you decide to fire Andy?
The final decision to fire Andy was today. There's been a lot of leaning in that direction over the last month. When we were 4-8, and I realized and faced up to the fact that we were not going to be improved over last year at all, that I was heavily leaning in that direction. But I promised to myself that I would wait until all the games were played, every factor was taken into consideration, and literally I informed Andy this morning about 9 in the morning.
Jeff, did you offer him at all any type of other job within the franchise? Or?
I did not. I know it's been rumored a bit that, but I think Andy is an outstanding football coach. That's what Andy wants to do. He doesn't want to transition to other aspects of football operations. He's a football coach. He wants to coach right now. He wants to coach. He was very excited about the future of this team and this franchise. He wanted to stay. And we spent some time on Friday going over exactly what his plans would be for the team, knowing that there was a very good chance that he was going to be let go. And yet, I can't tell you how excited he is about a lot of aspects of the team and what needs to be done to both turn it around and return to the excellence and go further. So that was he's energized and excited, and someone's going to get one heck of a football coach.
All that's good you said about Andrew.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think everybody knows that. Where did it go wrong?
Well, I think when you ask where did it go wrong, it's a great question. I don't think there's a short answer or an answer for headlines of a newspaper or internet site or whatever. It's a complicated one. But I think if you had to point to anything, it's when you've had as much success as we've had and are so close to winning a Super Bowl, at some stage you have an opportunity to think that the next move, even if it's not consistent with all your previous moves, will be the one that gives you the chance to win the Lombardi Trophy. And I think that in the last year or so, last couple years, we've done things that have not been as consistent. They've been more scattered in terms of decision-making. And you notice it, with any organization that's had a lot of success, that you will start to reach thinking that's the thing that's that's the player, that's the method, that's the mechanism, that's the coach, that's the thing that's going to put us over the top. And at the same time, you're dealing with what we had was a franchise quarterback that was descending, and therefore you're even more motivated before a player hits rock bottom or you're without a franchise quarterback that you're going to reach and do certain things. So I think we lost some of the exact nature of the method we have all shared that created the success, which was discipline, strategic thinking, don't do necessarily what's popular, but do what's right. And it's kind of a human thing. I take some responsibility for that because I was right out in the forefront for let's do anything we can to try to win a Super Bowl for the city and our fans. And at times, you had to probably be a little more self-disciplined and say, doing that, injecting that into the locker room, affecting the chemistry of the team maybe in some way, that's not the best thing to do. And yet you're so able to do it because of whatever opportunities we had, maybe in free agency, that it's kind of like indigestion. You have the capability of ingesting more and more and more, but there's a point of sort of diminishing returns and indigestion. And I think that's in a nutshell, and there's no simple answer to that question, but that's my long-winded answer to some of the problems.
Have you assembled a list of candidates?
I do, and I think we have a lot of good young players on the team. That doesn't mean we don't have significant holes as well. But the NFL is a changed league than it was 14 years ago. And, last year everybody laughed and thought that the Indianapolis Colts were years away, no matter if they get a young quarterback or not. And they're a strong playoff team right now. The Redskins as well. And it's a league that is changing rapidly. The offensive rules have changed rapidly. They've allowed for a lot of advancement in terms of what you can do, and I think it's reflected by the young quarterbacks coming into the league. And I think we've got a lot of young talent here. We just have to take it further. Yes. This has been, while you're trying to decide what you're going to do with your coach, at least the way I operate is been doing a lot of research over the last month or so. And that is done meticulously and in great detail. And we do have a very, very defined list of candidates. And we hope to be able to meet with some of them as soon as possible. And I think, again, though, and I know I'll be asked this question, it's better to find the right leader than it is to make the fastest decision. And the rules are such in the NFL that I think you all know them. They've changed over the last couple of years, but you have to interview people according to the guidelines, teams in and out of the playoffs, and you may have to wait till a team has completed their Super Bowl run. So the important thing is to find the right coach, not to make the fastest decision, and that's our priority.
Jeff, what gives you confidence that Howie Roseman is the right guy to move forward as GM and work with the new coach, and how will that dynamic work?
Yeah, a lot of the analysis of what we have here has taken place over the last 12 months, and it's not been reported properly because the information hasn't been communicated properly. And what I had to do was really look at the 2010, 2011, 2012 drafts, off seasons. I really wanted to evaluate everything. I keep voluminous notes on talent evaluation, not just who we draft, but who is valued in each draft by each person that is in the organization that's working here. And I came to the conclusion that the person that was providing by far the best talent evaluation in the building was Howie Roseman. And I decided to streamline the whole decision-making process for the 2012 draft and off-season. And that's the first draft and off-season I hold Howie completely accountable for. The mistakes that were made in the 2011 draft have little or nothing to do with Howie's evaluations. And I think it was important for me to own up to the mistakes that were made and understand where they were coming from. And it was awfully clear. And so an effort was made to streamline the entire operation. And as it turned out, and it was nothing I could easily communicate to all of you, but Howie assembled an excellent team around him. He's meticulous in his evaluations. He has great relationships with players, coaches, and agents around the league. And this was a very easy decision once the facts are in. Go ahead. The way I've operated is the way I'm going to operate, and that is the new head coach, whoever that is, will report directly to me. And that's the only structure that I insist upon. And as we go through the process, we have the flexibility to finalize personnel decisions and everything else that goes with the coach-GM relationship. But my goal is to have the coach and the general manager work hand in hand and work collaboratively and work in a very, very terrific way together. But there's no question in my mind the head coach will report directly to me, as every head coach has. And that's important. It's important in terms of attracting the right coach. It's important in terms of the autonomy that coach will have. And it also fosters an owner-coach relationship that I think benefits a football team in many, many ways. And that shared responsibility with the coach and the ultimate support for a coach when it's coming directly from the owner, and you build an organization that is supportive and give the coach all the resources possible, and have the GM collaborate very moment to moment and day-to-day with that coach. That's a great support system, and that's what we have here.
You said Howie is not responsible for the 2011 draft. The mistakes that you feel, who is responsible?
I want to take a much higher road than that, and just say that I've had to really go through exactly everyone's talent evaluations and realize that we needed a real streamlining of the process. And, I think the 2012 draft, it's promising. We'll know in 3 years how that is. But I want everyone to understand how he is accountable, responsible, and that's the way it is. But I'm looking at 2012 draft and off-season as the beginning of when he was given enough responsibility to put his mark on the team in a very dramatic way.
Final say in the 2012 draft.
No, he and Andy worked very well together in the 2012 draft.
2012 draft.
That's right. But I think Andy recognized, as did I, the talent evaluation ability of Howie, and virtually every decision was certainly supported by Howie. I'm not going to go into details, but you can take the 2012 draft for exactly the way it is.
Can you tell us what you
Sorry.
Process now, getting a new coach in here. I mean, against other franchise.
I'm very confident that this is the most attractive place for a head coach to work in the National Football League. Other teams can argue the same thing, but I am very confident that we have an incredible fan base. There are incredible fan bases in a few other cities, maybe many other cities. This one's amazing. They want what we want. And that's an obsession, not just to be good, but to be great. And that's big. This is a huge media market, primetime games. This is, if you want to be at the forefront of NFL in America, this is a top 4, top 5 media market. That's great. Facilities, about the best facilities in the National Football League. History of an owner-coach relationship, I think virtually unmatched. I think that the resources, any coach coming here knows there's no limitation on the resources in any direction, financial or otherwise, that's put towards the football program. Everyone knows that in the league. I think that the culture, a winning culture, to come into an organization that is used to winning big, and it's part of the mantra and the culture in an organization. That's huge because, when Andy came, we had to change the culture, turn it around, and that's a much harder job. This job is taking a culture that exists. There's been some negative turns in the performance of the team, especially this season and last, and I think that it's ripe for a real smart, forward-thinking coach who wants to get his hands on a great situation. So to me, this is the best situation for a coach to look at. Good question. I think that the most important thing is to find the right leader. I'm not one who wants to buy schemes, wants to buy approaches that are necessarily finite. What you got to find is somebody who is strategic, somebody who is a strong leader, somebody who is very comfortable in their own skin. That to me is probably one of the one or two top traits, because players today see right through if you're not. If you're a salesman coach, that's not going to work. Someone who is completely comfortable in their role, and who they are as a person, that's the most important thing. But there's a lot of other characteristics that go into it. How well does the person hire Is he going to surround himself with strong coordinators and good assistant coaches? In this league, that's one of the most underrated aspects. If you don't hire the best around you, they may not be named coaches, but you've got to hire great teachers and strong coordinators. I think you're operating at a disadvantage, and I'm looking for that. I'm looking for someone that's innovative, somebody that is not afraid to take risks, somebody that looks and studies the league and studies the college world and decides what the best inefficiencies are on offense and defense and special teams, and can execute it with their coaches so that you take advantage of trends and take advantage of again, inefficiencies in terms of where the game is at and understand where it's going. So a student of the game who's obsessed and who absolutely and on their own is completely driven to be the best. I mean, that's what you're looking for.
In which you thought back and second-guessed your decision to keep Andy as the season went along?
No, I really believed in my decision to keep him because I thought after going 8-8 every single year after that, we were a double-digit win team and in the playoffs. So I was absolutely certain that's what was going to happen this year. And you know, I was very wrong. We've not set up any interviews with anybody yet, no.
A lot of the players over the last couple of days, they said, some players didn't fight hard. How does a new coach change that if you think you have the right players on this team? How does that change?
I think a new coach is going to evaluate, watch every piece of tape possible, get to know the personnel on the team, and they will have a big say on moving forward because, any given year you're going to have 12, 14, 15 new players. This coach will have the opportunity with Howie to transform the roster, change whatever needs to be changed. And, I think one of the key elements of both picking a coach and having a coach choose to be the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, I think to be really successful in this league, you've got to be able to have the freedom to make short-term plans, mid-term plans, and long-term plans. And if you feel like you're under the gun where you're going to be given 2 years and that's it, or this year has to be absolutely the panacea to every problem you have, you're not going to get the best coaching. So when a coach comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, and the next coach will feel this way, he knows he's going to have the owner's support to both plan in the short run, plan in the midterm, and have long-term strategy as well. That, to me, is crucial because every decision you make needs to balance the three. And when you start to reach for short-term panaceas or short-term solutions that are not consistent with your culture and your football program, that's when you end up 4-12. Yeah.
What extent
I think the new coach will have a big factor in evaluating Nick. Nick, obviously very promising. I think that when you bring in a new coaching staff, they'll have an opportunity to really get to know him and evaluate him. And, he's only played 6 games, is it? Behind an offensive line that's been really battered. And I think they're going to have a great opportunity. I know Andy was, very excited by Nick. It's an understatement.
Jeff, when you say that you're going to retain, Jeff, when you say...
What's that, Rich? I think, look, the way I operate is not to make those football decisions. Nick has every opportunity. Everyone in the building thinks the world of him in terms of his promise and potential. This is going to be a decision made by the new head coach, not by the owner.
There's a report out there that you guys have already contacted Turner.
Yeah. No, we've contacted no coaches. That's all starting today, and there's no trips planned. There's nothing planned yet. That's all to be done.
Jeffrey, when you say that you're...
What's that, Paul? Absolutely. There's no certain formula here. Everything is on the table. There's some outstanding college coaches out there. There's outstanding coordinators out there. There's outstanding coaches that used to coach in the National Football League out there. And no stone unturned and open to it all.
You say that you're going to retain Howie Roseman as GM. Since he's been GM, the team has gone 10-6, 8-8, and 4-12. I think a lot of fans look at that and are nervous about handing over the franchise to someone that doesn't have a track record.
Yes.
Why do you feel so confident in Howie Roseman moving forward?
Right. I think that, first of all, not turning the franchise over to anybody. So that's not in the offing. As I said to you before, I've already answered the question, which is by streamlining the process and allowing Howie to act on his player evaluations properly, it's in very good hands.
Who's going to be helping you in the evaluation of these potential head coaches? Is this just going to be you and Howie? Or
No, there's going to be three of us involved, and it's going to be myself, Howie Roseman, and Don Smolenski. Couldn't be more confident in having them be part of the process. Don is a breath of fresh air and a real forward-thinking leader. He's been in the NFL for 15 years. He knows how organizations work, where they fail, where they succeed, and he'll be able to both present the Eagles in I think in a terrific light, and also be able to help in the evaluation of the coaching world. Howie has a great relationship with every agent, and I think just has a mind that's very valuable in terms of evaluating people, evaluating coaches, and an understanding of where the league is at. He's been in the league over 15 years, and we've got a very experienced group that's going to be doing it. But in the end, it's going to be a subjective decision on my part. I take it, very seriously. There's no guarantee that I'll make a great decision. I'm confident I will, but it is what it is. It's you're making judgments about people that you hope to work with for the next 10 to 15 years or more. And those are judgments made based on research, interviewing, and a real understanding of them, but you don't fully. So with all that, that's going to be the process, and I'm very confident in it. But has to take place.
Jeff, what becomes of Andy's staff now? All the coaches are they all dismissed? Is there anybody?
No, the coaches are all the coaches. Most of them are under contract, and of course we honor the contracts. They're going to do their player evaluations this week, which is important because you got to. It's always helpful to see how a position coach or coordinator feels about certain players, and they will be free to abide by the anti-tampering rules and interview for other jobs. And it's my priority that whoever we bring in as head coach will have an opportunity to meet those that are here, want to stay, and consider them. And there's some people there that I think really are deserving. They've worked hard, and they'll all have that opportunity.
How did you feel about
Yeah. What promise would you make then about turning this franchise around quickly and just coming back to the fold?
Yeah, I think, first of all, you have an owner that I don't speak a lot, but I care deeply, and I will do everything possible to turn away from the downturn and turn it around through people you surround yourself with. There's nobody that wants to win more than I do, and once you've experienced the success we've had and the division titles and all that stuff, it makes you just realize that there's nothing more that you want than a Super Bowl and deliver that for our fans. That's the important thing. We've all experienced what it's like to be in the playoffs every year. All those championship games and all that. We now know, and we didn't before, that the goal is to try to win it all. And only one team can every year, but I'm very confident that we're going to attract a really good head coach. He's going to attract a very good staff, and that we've got the people in place to work with them to be very, very impressive in terms of the future. I'm very, very confident. Yeah. I feel the pain. I feel the pain so much that I probably, sometimes I wonder, because it's harder for me to lose than it is to win a game. I still play over. Just to give you a feel for it, I mean, I will go back and go through a red zone series in New Orleans in a playoff game, and I can't get it out of my mind. Or it could be a pass that's underthrown in a playoff game here against Green Bay a few years ago, or an early pass in a game in the Super Bowl with a guy open that got intercepted. Things like that. I don't get it out of my mind. And so when we have a season like this year, it's embarrassing to me. It's personally crushing. I don't really. It's terrible, and I feel, our fans, they're the best fans in the country. We say that a lot. These fans deserve the very best, and this year they got a team that was not very good at all, and I feel terrible about that.
How did you feel about Todd Bowles? You brought in here 1 year. What is your opinion of right now?
What I don't want to do is really evaluate coach by coach. That's not fair. So I don't want to go into that, but. Our team played very poorly this year, I will say that.
Okay. Scott's still
So there is Jeffrey Lurie making it formal. Andy Reid dismissed as Eagles head coach after 14 years. And he says, you know what, usually on this day, I am home and I'm watching other teams make a change. And for